Alright, last time, with the Redeemer defeated, you decided what you should do with him, and of course, everybody was pretty firmly on the side of a quick execution, but however, they did allow him to plead his case, as was his right, as a citizen of Stahlreich. And the Redeemer, you know, I wouldn't say he was exactly... He definitely was not pleading for his life. In fact, he seemed to be almost welcoming of it after his folly. But he did say that while he had incomplete knowledge of the prophecy and, you know, he'd fucked up, he pursued an avenue that he shouldn't have without complete information. He did have decades of studying that he had done on the raiders of Black Everfrost and the legends of the king of Black Everfrost. At the end of the day, he's told you that his desire remained the same, that it had always been the same. He wanted, above all things, to protect the Stahlreich Empire, even though his attempts had been destructive. Even so, you could sense a desire sort of down, buried within him, not just to protect this land, but also the way he talked about the current Emperor Adelaide. Sort of wrote her off as weak, decadent. Made it seem as if he... it's hard to say he had it's hard to say ulterior motives, because that probably wasn't his main motive, but it was there in the back of his mind at the very least that he would be able to become the Emperor, and he viewed himself as far more fit and able than the current Holy Emperor. And from what you've heard from Gen, that may very well be the case, but the way he went about doing it was wrong. As this is happening across the frozen channel, you could see a group of these raiders that were approaching. Like I said, you were up on a cliff. It was a bright full moon night. You had a lot of visibility across the ice, and so you could see them advancing. And with them sort of coming and approaching, it was pretty well agreed upon to execute him with smoke, you know, rather fittingly strangling him with von Richten's bindings, the very chains that held the coffin of Hedwig von Richter in place. As he was being choked, the Redeemer looked out over the cliff, and he actually managed to a rasping chuckle as if he had found something amusing. And he muttered, "A hallowed king walks before a white tide before dying." What this meant, you're not sure, but he had seen something within it. Something that you don't know. Looking at his body, you see that he had apparently been reaching for something in his robe. An old iron key that had an iron coin for the head. A coin that bore the insignia of the Iron and Steel Mint. You sort of pocketed that, and you're sure you'll figure that out as a future plot thread. But as you looked over the cliff, it seemed like the raiders were parting, almost if there was a faint white light that was walking from the center of these raiders forward, and the raiders literally just parted before them, like deferentially. A woman no more than 18 slowly walked forward through them, her hair and skin pale, but her eyes seeming to glitter like black ice, her feet completely bare. The robe she wore sheer, gossamer, and so pristinely white that it made the snow and ice look grimy and dull. Gen seemed to sense something off about this situation, and he launched himself into the air to attack the raiders. Ancient Silver Dragon should no doubt be a match, with the ability to cast from range and breathe down his sort of breath weapons, should not be a problem for even 80 of these bad boys. But the woman lifted her arm, and 4 massive cart-sized hailstones formed overhead as storm clouds began to roil. Ito leapt aboard Gen's back because Ito is a fool. And the two soared down at the raiders, with the storm clouds forming overhead, and the woman in white just sort of dropped her arm forward, and one of the hailstones lanced down right at Gehenthermaz. Ito barely managed to leap from the back of the ancient silver dragon before it struck him right above the wing joint, sending him tumbling to the ground towards the frozen sea below, but again did manage to teleport out just in time before he crashed into the ice. Ito was cast aside. He did manage to use the powers of his lute to cast the fly spell on himself, but he was separated from the party. Took a couple of almost splinters of ice for his trouble. Adelindra, sort of seeing all of this, and at the sort of urging of everyone, retreated. For good reason, as the other 3 cart-sized hailstones just slammed into the cold forge, destroying it completely. This raider, as far this female raider, having destroyed the final resting place of Hedwig von Richter, an ancient enemy of her people. But after that, it seemed like they turned and they left. They didn't pursue you, and they didn't seem to walk up on the coast, but even so, you continued your retreat towards the town of Ingress, hoping to stop there at least briefly before rallying all the hussars that could be rallied at Festenhaven, the main sort of outpost of the Flaming Hussars. You sat around for a while for the campfire that night, and you talked about the prophecy, like, blah blah blah, what does it mean? I don't know. It's this prophecy is strangely cryptic. It could mean a whole bunch of things. What the fuck? No, the next day, Adelindra sort of said, hey, I can't afford to have anyone not participating, so you're gonna have to ride scout with Cora. You rode back, you found Ito, who had managed to signal you with like some sparks in the sky, and gathered him up. As you were riding scout, you came across like a small fishing shack outside a frozen pond, and it seemed like it had been deserted a little while, but you did find very strange and telling things about this shack. Parts of the snow that had been melted away, a horse that had been killed, you could just make out char on what remained of its flesh and bones, remorazes, these terrible arctic beasts that had like scorching hot underbellies. 2 of them attacked you, young remorazes, and you were able to dispatch them pretty easily, but then the mother remoraz appeared, chasing Cora. So she's sort of yelling at the top of her lungs as it charged forward. You turned and managed to defeat that one as well. After a little bit more travel, like I said, you've been traveling for a couple days at this point, or technically a few days, but besides the point. You managed to arrive at Ingress as night fell. Ingress, of course, the city that you fought the undead Archdruid Virgil, that most people had to flee from, due to the incoming horde of undead that came on, has largely been repopulated with people that are returning to rebuild it as best as they can. Most people didn't wander too far, and once the problem was dealt with, they started to return. The group decided to find a place to rest. There's a cozy little tavern and inn called the Ice Flows, but Adelindra took Ito with her, since they were still married after all, and alone together. They were able to talk more about the past and about the future. Adelindra told Ito that while the way he had left had been wrong, the sentiment may very well have been right. Adelindra is never going to be a lady. She doesn't want to die with slippers on, she wants to die with boots on. She doesn't want to die in a bed, she wants to die in the field. It's not a life for her, and so she told Ito that she released him from any obligation to her, and really her towards him as well. Any obligation he had towards her is released. Any obligation from her towards him, released. Hopefully, she said, or she hopes she could potentially find someone a bit younger than Ito, who is getting a little bit long in the tooth at this point, and it's about time for him to go out to pasture. And that's where it ended. I would have liked for Connor to have been here, so I could have gone over what that conversation was, because my internet died out in the middle of it. But I will just have to, instead of being able to actually roleplay it, he'll just have to learn about it. You find yourself waking up bright and early. Technically it's not the 25th anymore. 26. A bit late in the day whenever you wake up, having finally got to rest. The Ice Flows is a quaint and warm inn with uncommonly pretty barmaids and a red, sort of overweight, red-faced gnome. You think he's a gnome. He might just be a very short human. It's actually quite hard to tell. Too big for a gnome, too short for a normal human, not quite the right proportions for a halfling. He's an odd sort, but he is a jovial fellow named Marcus. He's been more than happy to serve you over the past, over the past brief period, the past night. He was happy to find you a warm bed to sleep in, although warm beds are in a little bit of a short supply. The common room right now is currently brimming full with hussars, all tucking into, as far as you can tell, fairly generous proportions from Marcus, who runs around, his squeaky voice high-pitched, saying, "Eat up! Eat up! After what you did for the town, you can have whatever you want, friends!" Well, within reason, as he actually sort of looks a little bit protectively over, like I said, the uncommonly attractive barmaids. Something, there's almost something fatherly in that look. As the barmaids hustle to and fro, sweat upon their brow, as they move from table to table, passing out ceramic sort of earthwares filled with this hearty brown stew that you can just make out chunks of potatoes and carrots and what looks like rabbit meat floating in it, and wooden tankards filled with a beautiful stiff brown beer that's all being guzzled down quite happily. Though ingress was damaged during the attack, it was a very brief attack, and for the most part it seems like things have actually started recovering pretty quickly. Even so, there's an air of... you can't quite explain it. Almost like an ominous air about... foreboding air, I suppose you could say, that hangs about. As you each come down, Marcus sort of smiles at you. "Well, our menu's not exactly varied today, but I promise you, you will get your fill if you'll just have a seat. Just have a seat." And you're able to sort of sit down and... "Oh, there was a package for you, a message, from the captain of the Hussars. Y'all must be pretty important."
You can say that.
He, says, "Brenda, the lockbox." As one of the barmaids reaches behind the bar and she lifts up a rather large and heavy iron lockbox. Hefts it over, he takes out a key and unlocks it and pulls out a incredibly large sack of coin and a small note from Adelindra. "Hand to God. Haven't touched it."
Klaus is salivating.
Regis nods. "Thank you, sir."
Of course. It's always nice to get some thanks from someone that I can look at eye to eye, if you know what I'm saying.
Indeed, it's not often you get this opportunity.
Yes. If you need anything, please feel free to holler. I'll just be behind the bar, or we can talk to one of our lovely barmaids. Brenda is the head barmaid. She's more than happy to help you. Brenda! Be careful with those tankards. We can't afford to break any right now, as he sort of rushes off, sort of jumping off the bench he was standing on next to. He sort of skitters away. His spot is quickly filled by a bleary-eyed Cora. She sort of rubs the sleep out of her eyes. Well, I did need that, that's for sure. Oh, what do you got there?
Apparently a gift from the captain.
Indeed. As you peel open the note, you can see the Adelindra's handwriting is not beautiful. It's actually quite blocky and rough. It merely states that these funds were recovered from the mayor of Ingress, and considering his indiscretion towards the Empire of Stalreich, having worked with the Redeemer and with Virgil, a portion of it seems fair to have taken a portion of it, or really taken all of it, and appropriately portioned out a portion of it towards you, and you see it is filled with 5,000 gold pieces of Mayor Black. I believe was it Mayor Blackleaf? I believe his name was of his money. It's a lot of money. Blackbloom. His name is Blackbloom. Augustus Blackbloom.
Reed just stares at it because obviously he hasn't seen this. He's never seen anywhere near this.
Hot.
Monastery is obviously a rather humble place.
Hot damn! What are you gonna buy with it?
Who knows?
Well, not exactly a large town around here, but still got a couple of nice shops and things like that. You can probably get a pretty decent item or two. I myself have had more than one armor piece repaired at the Dense Lament. So I always suggest there if you've got any business with arms and armor.
Good to know. Thank you.
Of course. So you eat your meal. It warms you, it girds you, and prepares you against a cold day. And it is indeed a cold day. You can just faintly make out a gentle kind of swirling snow outside. The, I'll go ahead.
So you got 7 of us?
Okay.
Oh.
So are we splitting the monetary value between the 5 actual people that are
I
here?
forgot to delete your last tokens. Go ahead now. Bam.
Admittedly, Klaus would probably
Man.
not be okay with that because they were part of the job.
They
I
were
mean-
there.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, if we were also talking about rewards and risking lives, I think technically Cora would get some type of reward from this. I don't know what she actually gets from being a Hussar, but she was in the
gets
shit with
something
us
of Vito's
also.
portion.
Actually the salary for Hussar is 75 gold per year, but we don't have to pay for any rent or anything like that, or for food. It's pretty much all profit.
Well, I mean, if you're not opposed to letting us have all the reward.
Oh, I mean, why don't you just you buy a nice little, like a little coat for sweet Bruno.
I think that can be pretty
Because
easily
I was
arranged.
thinking of the dog.
Well, 5,000 gold divided by 7 gets about 714 apiece, with 2 gold left over. So we can use that 2 gold for the little present.
I mean, okay. I've always got booze on the mind, but I'm just saying after the shit we've been through, perhaps the 2 gold will go to, I don't know, a feast and or boozing it up tonight. Eh?
Seems fair.
Yeah?
I mean, except of course
Yeah,
I'll have to
I
convince
mean,
Reed
it's
to
been a
actually
while.
drink something. Or you can have 2 gold of your own, Reed, and take Cora out on a nice date.
Oh, I would absolutely slip 3 gold into that one. Then
It's
you'll
okay.
have 5 gold.
Reed's about to slip 3 inches into that one. That's pretty big for a halfling.
Oh ho!
Yeah.
Oh, they never taught this to me on the monastery.
They would have
What
had
monk
basic. They
technique
would have
is
had.
this?
Yeah, where's this in the Kung Fu
Oh no,
Codex?
he's learned new monk technique, the finger blast.
Oh god damn it.
I'm,
Alright,
I'm just poking fun at you. It's okay.
Spend 2 key points.
If you, like I said, Ingress is not a big town. It's got quite a few people. It's relatively well equipped, but it's so far up north it's not going to have a major population. These are, and the people here are the people that wanted kind of isolation or adventure, essentially. Even so, they do have a couple of specialty stores, a very nice, like, scriptorium, that sells all sorts of, I mean, it's a scriptorium, it sells scrolls and books and things like that. Alchemist shop, a couple blacksmiths and smiths and things like that. A general store where you can buy all sorts of sort of miscellaneous things. They might have all sorts of interesting things, including some random miscellaneous items. And of course the Ice Flows, the inn. And Black Bloom Manor. It says Blackleaf Manor, but I forgot the name of the guy, so it's actually Black Bloom Manor now. I didn't refer to my notes whenever I made this map in about 5 minutes, and came up with this idea of you actually being able to walk into shops.
To be fair, it's just rebranding so the town can slowly forget the asshole.
That's true. It's now a tea. It actually has to do with tea, and it's actually Blackleaf tea that they're specializing in.
Excellent.
It's a cold day.
Reed 100% behind this. We would love
Start
some
a-
Blackleaf tea.
You could start a nice like a nice brewery here or something. But it's a cold day. It is almost bitterly cold. You can see the streets are largely deserted. The few people you do see, they keep their heads down, their faces covered. They do not really pay much attention to you as you pass by them. Where would it... You've got some gold, where would you like to go?
Trying to think about where Reed's first destination
And if there's
would
something
be.
in... These are just the general places I made pretty quickly. If there's something else you have in mind, you can just ask me. The town may have it.
I need
Could
Magic
they
shock and
reshape
scrolls.
my
Magic shops and
Good point.
scrolls.
I was just saying we can go there whenever, so I know what I'm after. So if
Well,
anyone else has some fun
I mean,
ideas,
this is kind of the thing. Anyone can go.
Anybody
everyone
can go
kind of-
wherever they want.
I would like to stay as a party and enjoy everyone's company before we all die terribly to the next horrible shit show that we'll inevitably be involved in.
Well, I do apologize, but Reed is going to break off.
I hope to take Cora on a date.
Wait here. He gives him 3 gold.
God, I need Cody here so bad for
first
story
thing-
purposes. Okay.
We need some druid speak.
I can do
Uh,
druid speak.
But
It's not. You know what? I can work with that. Okay.
especially after for that issue with the Remoras. For one thing, where's medical supplies?
Medical supplies. Are you looking for like a healer's kit or like potions?
Bit of a healer's kit, and then then after that I'd go for armor. But for right now, let's.
A healer's kit. It's pretty easy to come across at like a sort of like general store. Like that's sort of a general item.
Okay.
Is there somewhere I can go to reshape my was it my plague bane mask to fit a different aesthetic?
Sure, you could probably that could probably be like a smith of some sort.
Oh, for
I
a
already found
side.
a fucking
You go ahead. Sorry.
boom.
Ah, okay.
I'm
Alright.
gonna go quickly ask Ito to use the identify ring on my shotel that I made.
The one you made with the help of a god.
Yeah.
He was just trolling you earlier. It's just a regular old ice shuttle.
It's super nice looking though.
I'll start with the identified. Well, actually, everyone give me where you're going, and I'll probably start with the identified to get it rolling. So we got Aruna sticking with generally. So where the general party.
Yeah, eventually, whenever someone wants to, scripts and scrolls, probably. Secondary objective is runes. I would like to learn about runes via books, or if there's someone that knows anything about runes in town. And third, I want to get
My
sloshed
last
with
character did.
Bjorn and learn all about runes from him, or just have a good time.
Sure, all that can be worked with.
Yep, just whenever.
What does Joseph
don't need to
Smoke
go
do?
first.
Strong silent type, huh?
I'm thinking.
Boy.
What's the dense lament?
The dense
Dense
lament.
lament.
It is
What is
a
that?
smith.
It's a smith. Then what's a fighting chance?
Also a smith.
Are they
The
just
dense lament, I think, is armor. The fighting chance, I think, is weaponry.
Yes.
all right then?
They do have some crossover, but you will get more specialized weaponry fighting chance.
I think Smoke needs some new armor. He just got new weapons. He needs a new armor. I would go to the dense lament.
Colin is. Oh, he looked like he was frozen for a second.
Oh, am I? I should be okay.
No, you're good.
No, you're not.
Okay.
You're just.
I was looking at my shop's inventories real fast. Gonna update the shop inventory to include some magical.
Once I do the thing to get the shotel identified, I'm just gonna go with the general party because I want to visit several stores. So I'll just go wherever people are going.
All right. So for Reed, he'd start off looking for wherever he can find a healer's kit. Then actually, is there a store that has gemstone?
Gemstones? Sure, you could probably come across a jeweler of some sort.
Because I want to stop there and then I'll head to the armor smith.
Not gonna be able to pull you into a jeweler's shop. Didn't have that one prepared, but you can certainly find one. But the general shop, yes. You head to Sagat's Sundries. Hop inside.
Oh, dude.
Let's move you out. That square you walked over is also the way out. It just makes it easy for me to just pull you across.
Oh shit! I didn't know.
Yes. And you can go back and forth on that square to go from the map to the sundries and back out. And you can do that. You can't do that with any of them, or all of them. I don't have one for a fighting chance, and I don't want to have one for scripts and scrolls. Or Blackleaf Manor, but that's not a shop, so it's just the mayor's house. But yes,
Nick,
you can
if
go
I
in and
play
out.
as a potion seller, will you be my brave knight so that I can be the potion seller?
Potion seller of
Potion
these
seller?
games.
Of these games.
I mean,
I'm telling you, I'm going.
I'm
into
sure
battle.
eventually, maybe. I'm not gonna promise that now because
All right.
I'm not gonna kill all the cool.
Let us. If everyone's growing as a party, there's no reason you can't just kind of go all together in sort of around in like a clockwise fashion, essentially. But starting off, let's go ahead and get that shotel that you made identified. In all of the effort and all this sort of all the sort of rush, all of sort of the excitement of fleeing the Cold Forge, and how your travel has not been a leisurely travel. It's not, I wouldn't say it's been a forced march, but you've been scouting. You've been doing stuff that Adelindra needs you to do. Like she said before, she has to have everybody working. She can't, her hussars are so beat up and so low, she even has to, like, employ you and anyone she comes across. You haven't had a really great chance to look at this Shodal. Do little more than glance at it. And whenever you pull it out now in front of Ito, and that's, yeah, giggity, but you pull the Shodal out in front of Ito, it's got an interesting shape. It's certainly a curved sword, but it almost looks like a claw. A mantis's claw. You know, it's got like little spiny bits. You know how like their claws are like, they got like the spiny bits going down on it. It looks kind of like that. Whenever you touch it, it almost seems to vibrate. It almost seems to sing to you as you hold it out in front of him. Ito sort of raises an eyebrow. He says, "My name is Ito. I am a role player." As he holds up the ring, and he places his hand on the blade, and the ring glows. And the blade glows as well. And there's a moment before Ito actually has to like yank his hand back, and he rips off the ring and tosses it down. You can see the ring itself is burning hot. As he sort of takes a step backwards. Whatever it is, it's extremely powerful, but I don't know.
I just kind of like hold it in front of myself.
You can almost hear you almost hear a whisper in your head, the mantis claw.
Well, I guess I'll figure out soon enough. But I put my ice shuttle on the sheath that I have on my back, and I put that one on the sheath for my hip, and I will use this one first.
Alright. It seems like, I mean, unfortunately, the Identify was not completely successful, at least not within the ring. I wanted the option. I don't want to give the option of actually completely revealing it, because to completely reveal it would destroy the Ring of Identify. And if Connor's not here, I don't want to destroy something that's
his property.
Yeah.
It would destroy the ring because it's that strong?
It would destroy the ring because there's something so weird about it. There's something so strong and awkward about it.
Interesting. Well, good to know. It's strong, and I guess it's not cursed. So
something, you know, you don't even have to. I mean, you'll probably discover it in time, really. But you head back out, as everybody else is heading into Earl's store, or I assume, is everyone just kind of staying together and heading in a group?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we can go full-blown shopping spree. Fuck it.
Alright, I'm just gonna pull everybody to the general store then. I'm not gonna pull your tokens in, you just, look.
Oh, look, it's cooler than Ito. A better Spaniard.
Anyways, the shop itself is small, quaint. The man behind the counter, a rather refined-looking gentleman, wears a finely pressed red coat, and his mustache and beard are neatly kept. He's probably well into his 40s, maybe early 50s, slightly graying hair, but He almost has a better than you look on his face. Good evening. Welcome to Sagat's Sundries. How can I help you?
Well, I guess Reed will go first. Bow properly as always. Greetings, sir.
He nods his head. Yes.
I'm looking for a medical kit, bandages, and the like.
Of course, a healer's kit. We've keep those in fairly decent supply, obviously out in this sort of rough and strange wilderness. No, we're never gonna get hurt. And so we do have at least a couple of them on hand. You're more than capable of purchasing one. You wish. We have all sorts of bits and bobs and things like that. Tools and of all sorts. We're a general shop. That's what we do. However, if you have a specific request, I can check in my back inventory and see if it's something that we're just holding back there instead of on the shelves.
Just the medical kit for now.
Does he have an
I will keep you
inventory?
in mind.
Does he have an inventory? Yes, he technically does. You double click on him.
I can't.
It doesn't let us.
Hold on. Let me.
The alchemist and the blacksmith, I can double click and get an inventory.
Let me go to my actors, NPC, general store, configure permissions, all players, observers, save changes. Try it now.
There it is.
Yep.
Cool.
Very nice.
I'm assuming most of this is just like on shelves. And,
Yeah, this is just sort of, like I said, he's got some other stuff in the back, probably some of the more potentially valuable stuff that he doesn't just want on the shelves where anybody can see it, but this is just sort of stuff you can see browsing, and most of it is, I mean, it's what you would expect from a general store. It's general sort of adventuring supplies, rations, ropes, clothes, tools, pots and pans. Healer's kit is indeed on the shelves, a few of them. Shovels, picks, mirrors, ink. If you have a specific request, however, he'll have to check in the back. But he does bring down one of the healer's kit, dusts it off a little bit, passes it down to you. That will be 5 gold pieces, Master Halfling.
Reed will nod, pull out the 5 gold. Same time, he's going to take a look. I don't really need the mason's tools or anything like that. I really want him to get into blacksmithing, but...
Well, we do have a lovely set of smith's tools should you want to go into it, and the Dense Lament has a very agreeable fellow that would be more than willing to teach you the basics if you had the time. He can be a bit stuffy and, well...
Well, time is one thing that we might not be...
Oh, I understand.
We may not have an ample supply of, but thank you. Just the medical kit, just the healing kit for now.
Jesus Christ, can you imagine a football team scoring 56 fucking points?
Who scored that many
Who
points?
scored?
The Bills scored that many
Jesus.
points against
On who?
Miami.
Jesus
Yeah, on the
Christ!
Dolphins. And they're supposed to have like a fucking like really good defense too.
God, I hope the Bills go all the way. I like the Bills. I think they I'm like you deserve it. You've been fucked over for so long, Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
Damn
either,
it, Colin.
either the Bills or the Browns.
It's your turn.
These nerds don't care about football.
Anyways, despite his rather haughty attitude, he is agreeable enough, and he's willing to help you out in any way he can if there's anything you want. Like I said, I just threw down some very general stuff on it.
What in the way of magical items do you have?
Oh, we keep a couple of very minor magical trinkets about. Nothing particularly rare or fancy, but those are the type of things I prefer to keep in back. I'm not saying that the people of this town are very sticky-handed, but it's just the type of thing you do for safety.
Yeah,
Stand.
all it takes is one person with sticky hands.
Exactly. You understand. But I can throw myself back and we'll see. How about that?
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Gonna roll a couple.
I would like block and tackle actually.
Oh, that's of course.
I forgot I got that.
That
I
should
forgot
be
I had that flight described.
easy enough, of course. I will check in the back for that as well. We don't have too much fishing going on about here. You just think for how close we are to the coast, but the seas are a little bit rough and cold. Most people don't want to go out into that, but I'll check in the back as well whenever I check these my uncommon wondrous items. All right, we're gonna roll a D4 for me.
A D4.
Nick, because you're the one that asked about it.
3.
He's gonna have 3 wondrous magical items.
Ooh.
1, 2.
Are you supposed to? Are we?
No, you're not. You. All
Let's
right.
say because that we're seeing those.
Yes, that's fine. He has a small. I don't want to say small. A normal-sized violin, with a it almost has like gold inlay on it. It looks beautiful. He brings that out. Says, "This, my good sirs, is a vain virtuoso's violin. I don't know if any of you are possessed of a particular magical or musical abilities, I mean, but it does have its purposes if you know how to use it and you well, deal with the, if I might be frank with you, there is a curse on this violin. It is a beautiful instrument with lovely, intricate pearl designs, but this violin was unfortunately crafted by a man who was quite cruel to his family. He killed his wife, and seems some sort of, I don't know, that bad will attached itself to the violin. For mechanical purposes, this finely crafted wooden instrument inlaid with intricate pearl designs is inlaid with pearl designs. When you give another creature bardic inspiration die using this violin, you gain 1 yourself, which is a D4. So not only do you give a bardic inspiration out to someone, you gain 1 for yourself without having to cast anything beyond that. You just get 1. However, the violin is cursed. When a creature you can see, including yourself, fails an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw after adding the bonus from your bardic inspiration to the total of the roll. So if you add your bardic inspiration and you still fail, you take psychic damage equal to the amount you rolled. So a relatively minor downside, but still annoying.
Huh.
Equal to the D4 that you rolled. Okay.
Well, equal to the whatever they rolled on their dice. So if they if they rolled a D12 and they still failed, they would take whatever they rolled.
Ooh, ow. So was that? Oh.
So it could potentially be a lot of damage, or it could be very minor. But beyond that, he says, that is an item that has been sitting on the shelf for quite some time. I'm always frank and upfront with people about it. After I had its properties identified, I suspected that it might sit there for a while. That being said, it does get a little bit cheaper due to that downside, but I don't want that to be a selling point for you. This one, however, he pulls out like a small kind of bottle with a sort of lead. It's like a brass bottle that has a lead stopper. Looks like it's actually pretty sturdy. He says, "This is an ever-smoking bottle, and it's basically as the name says. Whenever you open it, it produces smoke around it, and that smoke is always there. So whenever you open it, smoke comes out, and it obscures the area that it's around for a minute, and then it disperses. However, the closing the bottle does require speaking a command word, so if you were silenced or something, but that's the side point. It's basically a very nice way to create cover for yourself, should you need it."
Interesting.
Yes, I thought so as well, and to tell you the truth, I might have been a little bit of I suppose you called me a naughty boy, as one time I did set it off in someone else's house and yelled fire. Probably quite rude of me, but everything turned out okay in the end, and we had a good laugh about it a couple of years later after he had gotten over it.
I'm sure.
I mean, if I've ever heard a great selling point, it was that. How much for this the bottle of not tricking people into thinking
The
things are on
smoking
fire?
bottle is a relatively unimpressive magic item. I could probably part with it for 100 gold pieces or so.
Listen, we have a couple other shops to visit.
That being said,
But-
there's nothing that stops you from trying to haggle him down. These are just base prices.
Yeah, but I still, I might want to shop around a little bit more, but...
And understandable. I don't want you to feel beholden to these items. I'm merely showing them, and once you're gone, I'll put them back into storage until the next person comes along. That being said, the final item, he gives you a pair of gloves that they look like a frog's hands, almost, whenever you put them on. Slight suction cups at the end, webbing between them. These are gloves of swimming and climbing. I mean, the name gives it all away. They improve your ability to swim, and they improve your ability to climb. And for mechanical purposes, while wearing these gloves, climbing and swimming doesn't cost you any extra movement, and you gain a +5 strength athletics checks, or +5 bonus to checks made to climb or swim.
Pretty neat.
Pretty neat.
Those
It's
are
just a
pretty good.
random
I like those.
random ones he rolled up. I'm afraid that's all we have. Not too much of an impressive inventory, but we do have a couple of interesting things. That being said, if there's anything else you want, I'm more than happy to look in the back, but as far as magical items go, that's what we've got.
Well, that's it for me. I think we may be back, that's for sure.
That being said, you expressed interest in tackle, was it?
Yes, fishing gear.
Of course. We do have a nice tackle kit. It has a couple of lures, that sort of thing. To tell you the truth, it's, as I said, fishing is not, it's not that it's unpopular here, it's just most of the fishing is done with nets and boats and things like that, and our tackle kit is not particularly useful, so we do have a tackle kit for 2
That's fine,
gold
we cover a lot.
pieces. That is acceptable to you.
That to be fine.
Of course, and he pulls out like a wooden box. It's small, but it looks like it has maybe a dozen various lures, and he sort of brushes it off. You can see there's a pretty heavy coat of dust on it, and blows it off. He opens it up and lets you look at it. But the tackle, as far as you can tell, looks fairly well made. The box is pretty nice. It's a small box, so it's not going to take up lots of. For 2 gold pieces, it's not a bad deal. And I have managed to add a tackle kit to his inventory in the time we were talking.
Nice.
Is it a cursed tackle kit?
Oh, shit,
Absolutely,
he's found
everything's
me out.
cursed.
Everything is cursed.
That's why nobody ever shops here. It's all cursed.
Don't remind
This is
me.
cursed.
You know that healer's kit? It will heal people, but it will not heal their marriages as they fall apart. That's the curse.
If this were the actual vendor, I'd be so happy.
Oh, no wonder why Ito's marriage fell apart.
No, that's
He didn't
because
have it.
Ito's a piece of shit. I mean, that's actually the truth. He's a piece of shit that ran out on his wife after a battle.
God, the gossip sure gets around.
I know, can you believe he's marrying a woman that calls him Lord Saraceno in public and only Avendor in private? But I hear she's a real 10 out of 10, if you know what I'm saying.
Friendship with Ito ended. Best friends with this shopkeep.
That's... Anyways, that is, I'm afraid that's what we've got on tap. If there's anything else I can do for you,
No, thank you. You have been very accommodating and regal, of course. Bow before.
young man, would you be so kind to throw some fire onto the... or some logs onto the fire as you walk out? It's getting a bit chill in here.
Of course. Of course.
Of course. So like I said, he has a relatively large, fireplace. You're able to toss a couple of fires on as the fire has burnt quite low, and you definitely feel the air is starting to get a little bit chill, as you, take your items, and those are what he's got. In fact, let me go ahead and add that to his inventory, so I don't forget that he has those. I don't know where that would be. Like, we're just gonna add it to it. Alright, where would you like to go next?
Are we just going like in a counterclockwise fashion? Just gonna go to the scripts place next?
Can, although that might not be the one that I have a building for.
Oh, trust me.
I made two scripts because I thought somebody would want to go to them, and it turns out I'm right.
How did I exit? There's a thing in the top left
Drag
under the
yourself out, sort of towards one end of the map, and then drag yourself back to where you are. You have to exit. Basically, you have to leave the exit area. Well, other side of the map, because technically you haven't left the exit area there. But drag yourself to like the far side of the map, then drag yourself back, because you have to technically leave the area the sort of box that I've drawn out for you to enter into, and then enter back into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just add this stuff to his inventory. God, I'm so shitty having to add all this shit in on the fly. Right, so those will be in his inventory if you want to get that. Meanwhile, back at the map, you head in a clockwise sort of fashion towards scripts and scrolls. I'm actually gonna go ahead and just drag you into the bookstore that I have set up. I didn't set up scripts and scrolls. What do you think of this shop setup though? Where you're able
That's
to walk
pretty
into the
cool.
shops and see
Pretty
it.
cool.
I like it.
I will probably have to reuse shops. I don't think I have that many shops, especially for magical shops. But there is a very lovely woman, not the type of woman at all you would expect to be in a sort of musty library setting. She's beautiful with dark black hair and fair skin and bright red lips, wearing a sort of rather tight, sort of form-fitting clothing, warmed by a very fine velvet red coat. She has a very fancy large red hat with a feather sticking out into. She says, "Oh my! What can I do for you, gentlemen,
I'm
today?"
still in the general store. I never got pulled out. I
I
don't have a token to move out with,
let us fix that.
unless I'm stuck under.
I think I might have deleted your token completely. That's okay. I can just pull you in and do so by going to my plate, and I will go to Joseph Smoke and drag him into there, and then we are going to pull Joseph Smoke into here.
Can you pull me back in? I want to go look. I forgot. You don't have an entrance.
Pull to scene, and then I will go to map and read. The entrance for this one is just on the other script store.
2 for 1.
Ooh,
Basically.
I'm here now.
You're here now. There is a very attractive woman, the type of woman at all that you would be, not at all the type of woman you would expect to be in charge of a script store or a library or anything like that. But she leans in rather suggestively, revealing a pretty low-cut top. She smiles at you and she says, "How can I help you today, my beautiful chickadees?"
Lord God in heaven.
Reed, completely oblivious, looks around for the chickadees.
I'm talking about you, dear. Silly nonsense.
Okay. Would this be the place, friend, to find, like, ink, of the magic variety and, like, chalk, etc.? I assume from the scripts
course.
part.
Of course, if you want me to cast a magic spell on you, I certainly can.
Perhaps at a later date. But, at the moment, magic chalk would be absolutely wonderful, as I think I can get us around a little more quicker if I have it.
Well, if you're looking for chalk, we do have it. Chalk. We have all magical components of all sorts, as well as a fine selection of books and scrolls and various things of that sort.
Okay. I will look around.
Can you open our inventory?
I haven't tried. I cannot.
Last time I could. No.
Okay, that means I have not
Like I
set.
said, right now,
I have not
right
set
now
her.
we've got blacksmith and general store.
I have not set
Yeah, I
her
would say
to
for-
observer either. Probably it's because I basically just made her essentially. All right, now she's an observer.
Oh, baby, yes. Wow, look at that. The guide to rune crafting. How strange. Now, as
What you just
question,
go over high maintenance of Warforged love story?
I was already highlighting the strange heart-shaped book in the bookshelf earlier. I already trust me, I know.
That is indeed it. Chapter 3, technically. It's 12 chapters, and the 12 chapters are scattered amongst various NPC sellers across the entire kingdom.
Okay. As a mechanics question, if I hit buy item, will it just add it and take my money out?
Should.
Okay, cool. Everyone, I may be here a while, so, yeah, indulge me.
Promise?
I'm not paying attention to her already. I'm looking at the stuff.
Oh. Guess where she produces spell scrolls from. Well, if you don't want to pay attention, perhaps your handsome friend will.
Bugman, you're up.
Here.
Yes.
And I'm lurking to Brody Chilbro's Guide to Extreme Angling.
Ah, yes.
Hell yeah.
Brody Chilbro. He is, well, his looks are interesting. But if you are wanting to get a good foundation on fishing and the various fish of the Empire, then it's a fair place to start. It's not cheap, however. It is not exactly a common book, I suppose you could say.
Actually, Reed's looking through inventory, sees a scroll of identify.
Yes. In fact, even though it lists only one, anything she lists one of, she has multiples of. I just didn't. You'll just have to ask me, and enter more of them. But I kind of just dragged them in pretty fast.
I bought all the chalk.
Yeah, okay.
I will accept the
Oh,
50 gold.
Aruna's
for
leaving the
maybe-
store, fucking fistfuls of chalk, just like, yeah.
You know what?
But if
This
you're
is actually-
interested,
If I hit the buy,
it'll take it out
if
of
I
your.
hit the buy item button,
Yeah,
it'll
I can.
there is
add it?
only
Damn.
there is only one of that.
I mean, I can buy Identify and copy it into my book so we have it. If you,
Oh, I
if
already
you
bought it.
Hang on.
Oh.
I mean, if you're seeing me taking it, if you want it, go for it.
Oh well, I'm just saying I don't. If you use it,
giving
it's a
me an error.
one-time deal. But if I copy it into my book, we have it for all eternity.
What? Brody Chill Bros?
No, the scroll of identify.
Oh yeah, yes. Aruna, there are quite a few spells that Aruna could copy should she want to buy them and copy them.
I mean, if all right, then
Ooh.
go ahead and
I mean, I might be willing to throw into that.
if you'd like to, I will hand over the scroll.
I was say, do you want me to like pay for half of it or?
Now,
no.
now, Beaver,
Got it.
what I need you to understand. What I'm sending you is not finished yet. I'm still working on Brody Chill Bros guide.
No, I got it. Yeah, that's fine.
But I would like you to
I will
identify
subtract 50 gold.
the ring I have now
Okay.
as soon as you finish copying it over.
Yeah.
For some reason, whenever I try to message you, Beaver, I go to your message and it just sits there and says "fail to load."
What the
weird.
heck?
Interesting.
Too bad the shop tells everyone what I buy, so they'll see my secret indulgence.
Okay, I think it just went. Okay, it went. Yeah. That is, like I said, work in progress. Brody Chill Bros Guide to Extreme
Oh.
Angling.
Chody Bill.
Chody Bilbro.
Okay.
This Warforged love story is totally just that one lady,
I didn't get
Nipsey Brightbuckle's story about making her husband, right?
I think that's not so much like a romance or a love story so much as a one-sided pleasure experience. So
Hey man, it's different how you look at it.
mechanical wise, Colin, how are we keeping track and such? Because I don't know if I base start with ink and such as a wizard to copy spells, because I know it requires a certain amount of money, and illusion spells, because I am an illusion wizard, costs less to copy.
Yes,
If that makes sense.
that is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so should I could buy. Okay, how many uses of an ink bottle would I get for a spell?
Ink. If you've got ink on you, you've basically got ink on you. It doesn't really.
Okay.
It's not the type of thing that expires. As crazy as that is. Once you buy ink, I'll consider that it's on your inventory pretty much permanently, unless something weird happens.
Gotcha.
I mean, an ink bottle doesn't use a lot of ink, or an ink bottle has a lot of ink. You don't use a lot of ink necessarily to scroll down the spells. So,
Gotcha.
I'm not a big fan of extensive bookkeeping like that.
Okay, rune cast. I'm spending a lot of money in case you're wondering.
What are you buying?
It's the rune crafting, the Warforged love story, ink bottle, ink pen, a book, a calligraphy supply, and
I'm just saying,
all the chalk.
Doesn't it seem like calligrapher's supply should come with an ink bottle and an ink pen?
It probably does. If you just buy the calligrapher supplies, you don't have to worry about the ink bottle and the ink pen.
Well, it's too late now.
Too late
'cause they're
now.
cheap.
It's okay.
I got extra. It's fine.
Aruna, cast your eyes to your journal.
Oh, I shall. I believe. Maybe. Where's my journal gone? I think.
The section that says
Yes.
books.
I'm there. Oh, hell yeah.
Beardling's Guide to Rune Crafting. That is your guide.
So I need smith or tinker's tools.
Rune crafting is in fact does use smith's tools.
Okay.
But as you can see, and I've made it so you're the owner, so technically you could delete everything. Please don't. Everybody else is an observer, so if you want to, if you go to books, you'll see there is a rune crafting system in place. Why is there a rune crafting system in place that I've created for actual rune crafting? Well, it's because I live a
Kind of fun to do too.
sad, lonely life, and that includes there's an actual mechanical out of game. If you look at the runes you want and decide how you want to draw it, and you send it to me, I will give you advantage on your roll to make that check.
Okay.
But you have to like design it out of game and send it to me.
Listen, I don't have an art tablet because I don't draw stupid shit for D&D.
You're welcome. And as
Thank you.
Klaus, did you see your guide to extreme angling?
I have to request access to it.
Yeah, it's share. Anyone
Okay.
with link? It's weird. I don't know why. Should be able to look at it at the very least.
Oh, I still have 66 platinum after that spending spree. We're doing pretty good.
Jesus Christ, platinum?
Yeah, I don't know why I put in platinum.
Bro, fuck yeah, Colin.
Oh yeah, okay, so you did find it. Yeah, okay.
I fucking love you.
That is, as you can see, that is an actual fishing system, so... And it is in place. I haven't got all the numbers down for it yet, or anything. But you can see how it works is that, you take your rod, and there are different rods that give various bonuses and things like that. I believe the way I'm going to set it up is the rods give you, one extra, like, slip the line attempt. But, as you can see, whenever you find a successful place to fish, which is a survival check, you throw out your line, and you roll a d100 to see what you get. So you're in the Arctic right now. You roll a d100, say you get like all you got was a guppy. Well, a guppy has a -5 to its fight score, and whenever you try to reel it in, it basically rolls a d20 plus its fight bonus, so it'd be -5, so it'd be a d20 -5, opposed to your athletics check, because you're trying to pull it in. And then, or that's what the bonus means, then the fight score next to it, or the struggle bonus is -5, so it's d20 -5, and the fight score next to it is the amount of successes you have to make, so 1 success, and the slip the line score is how many attempts you get at it, so you have to oppose with your athletics score a d20 -5, and succeed on that 1 out of 3 attempts,
Okay.
basically.
I get it. So with the Princess Trout, I have 4 chances to
Yes.
make 2 successes with
Yes.
a -2 to his
Yeah,
d20
yes,
roll. Okay.
and so it'd be a -2, and various things have different values. Like the Arctic Creeper is a like a vine, and so you'd pull it up and it wouldn't be a fish, but that is an herbalism ingredient. Like it'd be like if my hook is caught on shit, but I pulled something reasonably valuable in it. And of course, junk is junk. You fish up an old boot or whatever. There's always possibility. All of the biomes have a legendary encounter that falls on like a 99 or a 100, or in some cases a 100. And you can see all of them. Lady of the Lake is one, Mysterious Lamp, Great White Whale, Megalodon, that sort of thing. These are extremely difficult, but potentially extremely valuable encounters when you're fishing. But once you finish that, if you succeeded that's actually just removed off the table. It can only happen once. But that's the fishing system I've come up with.
That's pretty fucking cool, Colin. Not gonna lie.
And you can see it's written in the in the style of a dude who is a bro, but he is perhaps a bro that is a little bit more obsessed with his friend Kyle than you'd suspect. I had a lot of fun writing it, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know what some of this stuff mean. like the words that came out. Right here. Be careful though. Fight for it too long, it'll escape, leaving a snail trail away from you like that skank hoe at Dorzia's. I mean, at least rock a whale tail if you're baking a loaf. I don't even know what that means. It just came out. I have no clue.
Alright. But does the Warforged love story have dialogue?
It will. I promise you. It does not right now.
Excellent.
I have started. I have only written chapter 1.
I do believe in my thing I sent you, I do have enjoy saucy books somewhere. So this will be great.
I have written chapter 1. There are 12 chapters to be scattered around the world. I didn't want to start you out at chapter 1 though. I wanted you to find it, be like, oh shit, there's like a bunch of chapters scattered across the world. I want to give you a reason to go to shops.
This is a reason for Aruna to live.
But beyond that, she doesn't really have anything else. She's just got basic spells, these interesting books, that sort of thing. She does, however, seem to have taken an extreme liking to you, Aruna.
She's giving me the eyes read, kind of like Cora does with you.
Speak up, darling. There's no need to be so quiet here.
I mean,
I
I was just saying you're giving me the eyes. I'll be honest.
Did I make it that obvious? Well, I guess in some want to, there's no reason to be quiet here at all.
Let's go for the lesbian wizardry. Do it.
That is the most blunt thing I think that has ever come out of your mouth.
I am not exactly a young woman. So you'll have to pardon me if I'm a bit upfront.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly a podunk town, but probably not a place where you find too many people to
I wouldn't call it a
spend time with.
podunk town, but it's certainly not a city.
Well, that begs the question, why are you out here as opposed to a city?
Let's just say there was a time where I lived very happily in the city of Prost. And I had quite the successful little shop, much as you see here. And it may have happened that I attempted to... What do you know of airships?
Oh goodness. Well, we almost died on one. So vague.
Well, I guess we have that in common, darling, because I almost died on one as well. I attempted to outfit an airship with an ability to... Well, I don't know how to describe it. Well, I suppose I do actually rip holes in the material plane and pass on to other ones. Did not work. A couple of people might have died in my experimentation. These were accidents that were... Well, they understood what they were getting into when they signed up to serve aboard the ship, and... Though I failed, I do know quite a bit about it. I think if I tried again, I could probably do it. But even so, once that happened, I was not welcome, and to tell you the truth, I never was able to recover the ship. It came back in many pieces, and I could not financially recover from it. So I took what inventory from my shop I could carry in a bag, and I ran as far away from it as possible, and that is where you find me right now, in this lovely little town.
Well, that was a wonderful story that I super enjoyed.
Thank you.
While I do not promise companionship necessarily, we are having a small get-together at the Ice Flows tonight to kind of celebrate not kicking the bucket. It would be lovely if you'd join us possibly for the evening.
Of course, of course. My name is Delilah, my love.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, and I guess we'll see you tonight.
Of course. You walk into there and say, "Hey there, Delilah," and you start singing.
What's it
See you
like
there,
in
Delilah.
Ingress
What's it like in
City?
Hey there, Delilah, won't you shut the fucking fuck up, cause you're such a fuck up, and I hate this song because it really sucks.
You don't like Hey There, Delilah?
No, that song sucks.
You have the is it the song or is the
Yeah,
Flame
that
White
song
Teeth?
sucks.
It's the song. It's a bad song.
What about Rhythm of Love?
All of it's bad song. There's only one good song, Gangnam Style is the only good song.
You're forgetting Africa.
And Africa by Toto. Two good songs. Point is,
about
you've
you?
pretty much wiped her out at this point. You've got the books I was hoping you would buy.
Wow. Who could
Well,
expect?
I mean, I saw the fucking big fat target on that one. I had to.
Anyway,
I mean, Brody dude,
so
bro.
Aruna, have you copied that scroll over?
Yeah. I'll have to do some calculations.
Yes, it does take some time to do it. It doesn't just happen immediately. They gotta spend like some time, like an hour or so, like scratching away at their books. But you can pull the scroll away and give it to them. And obviously it has to be, I believe it has to be a wizard's class scroll that is entered. But, because I think there's some cleric scrolls in here as well, but...
Yeah, I
Oh.
used my metagame knowledge to not pick cleric spells.
Yes, yes. Like, you couldn't copy Bless into your spellbook.
If only.
Okay. Well, since it's gonna take some time, Reeb will also take the ring out of his pocket, show it to Aruna, and say, "Once you've
Man.
done this, identify this for
What is that there, young man?
free." Honestly, I'm not sure. It's a trinket we found.
Well, hand it
with some
over.
odd-
You've been so nice to buys from me, there's no reason why I can't have a look at it. I have a little bit of magical talent of my own, and I haven't really had the chance to flex it as of recent.
Reed just gives a little bit of a worrying look over to Aruna.
Listen, I think if anyone, she's going to be all over it's me. So you have Cora, you'll be fine.
We will walk over and show her the ring with the animal Ouroboros on it. Ouroboros.
She looks at it and rolls it in her hands. A well-made ring. Oh my. Where did you come from this? Where did you come across this?
Just a random kind of crypt area. To be honest, I don't know if it had anything to do with the ring itself.
She sort of lays it on a handkerchief and looks at it for a little while. And... Ah. Interesting, interesting. Well, I suppose fitting that it would have animals carved upon it.
Why would that be fitting?
This lovely little ring is a ring of spell storing. There's a spell stored in it. Animal friendship.
Okay, interesting.
Ah, yes. It allows you to cast animal friendship. It appears once per day. That is fairly useful, actually.
I mean, I haven't communed with nature too much, but
I know. Give me a city any day. But even so... and she hands it back to you. No charge, of course. You've spent a fair amount of coin in my shop, and a little bit of magic cast for that is no great loss.
you have my gratitude. And Reed will bow as always.
I'll see you tonight, hopefully, at your little get-together.
Maybe.
You see her come in and fucking Reed steps in the wind out the door.
I mean, she
Stay away from me, foul temptress.
she can be a little bit flirty and a little bit forward, but it's not like she's saying anything crazy like young master halfling, crawl up in my vagina so I can rebirth you.
Jesus.
She's not saying anything
as-
crazy.
As a point of note, Colin, tonight before I go to sleep, as it only takes me 4 hours to sleep as opposed to 8, I will spend the 2 hours and 50 gold of material components to copy identify
Yes.
as its first level.
That means Ito can fucking destroy his ring to identify Alakul's thing.
What if I do it and it destroys my spellbook?
If you cast Identify, you have to make a saving throw against psychic damage.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, just after this party's over, if I'm still alive.
Is there
You mean
anything
if-
else I can do for you, my lovely little chickadees?
Just meet us at the ice flows and I'll go through.
I'll be there with bells on, my dear.
Give her the finger guns as you walk out.
Hey, if I get this get this teleportation circle up, we can go get the tailor for you, Klaus, and we all have a party.
Alright,
Reed will actually lag behind for a second.
okay.
Wait for everybody else to
They head
go
out.
out.
The woman sort of looks at you and says, "Yes, my dear, did you see something that you wanted?"
Not something, but a question for you. You
Perhaps
seem...
someone?
No, thank you. But I was hoping to get some information from you. You seem the type who might know of nice places around here. A good spot to get
Course.
one.
I do know, fine vista or two, nice restaurant, that sort of thing.
Vista would be good.
Of course.
Perhaps a good place for the night sky.
Ah. Well, there's lots of very fine places out here, but I don't want to get outside the hustle and the bustle of the town. Obviously, it's not exactly an impressive city, but even so, at night there's sorts of lights and smoke from chimneys that blocks such a beautiful view. Just outside the city, there's a little hill that has a couple of scraggly little bushes upon it. I myself would sometimes go up there and think about what I've lost due to my own ambition. Of course, it's a cold night. I would bring a blanket, something like that.
Sorry, I promise
Perhaps
I'm
I
not
will
that.
have to head back to the general store.
I mean, theoretically, but you could probably get
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Probably would not lose their shit over it. She sort of says it's on the. You're going to actually want to head out of the west gate. Then from there, go due north. Once you're out the west gate, it's a lovely little hill. There's not many hills around it. You can hear the ocean far into the distance. It's usually quite quiet. Looks like it's going to be a very beautiful, clear night tonight. Not quite a full moon, but full moons are so cliche.
Thank you.
Of
It does mean
course.
quite a bit.
Hold on to that ring, it's very nice.
I will. And Reed will bow and walk out.
Bye-bye.
Does
She
she-
smiles at you.
Does she identify something?
She identified
She
his
identified the
ring.
ring. The ring that I had with the animal Ouroboros is a ring of animal friendship.
Neat.
Or, sorry, a ring of spell storing with the
No,
spell
yeah,
animal
spell
friendship.
story.
Neat.
Yeah, and if
Uh,
you're so inclined to find out about your shuttle, if after the 2 hours I spend tonight, I will have identify.
Cool.
And the nice lady's joining us at the party tonight.
Yes, her name is
side note.
her name is Delilah.
Oh,
And
so
she's-
Runa's found a girlfriend.
She's
It's alright, we've already-
delightful.
But we've already heard the joke, hey there, Delilah. So
Everybody's finding girlfriends, so I can kill them.
Listen, if you
I
think
can't
I'm gonna be
kill
attached to
girlfriends.
this woman, I'm gonna be so blazingly drunk, I won't even know who she is.
Joke's on Alec. Cool. I kill the Mantis Queen. Acceptable.
That's real messed up.
All right.
Kill a goddess.
All right. You head out after sort of being able to look. You've got your access to rune crafting, and like I said, the rune crafting system that I've made. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the rune crafting doesn't hold up over significant scrutiny. It does have some little holes, but you kind of have to suspend your belief a little bit and say, alright, it's kind of squiffy. If you just give me something that generally follows the rules, I'll say, oh, that's pretty good. You put in the effort. I'll go more into depth with you if you want, because a lot of things like the big thing is the sort of runic intents, especially the Mutare rune, which is the manipulation. I've made it in my head. Most of the runes or the elemental runes have certain. If you use the Mutare rune, the manipulation rune, they don't do damage. They sort of change certain things. Like if you use the Mutare rune with acid, anytime you hit with a weapon that has been chanted or rune crafted with the Mutare acid rune, technically the Mutare acid rune that has been used offensively, it will reduce the thing that you hit armor class by 1. And it's limited to 1, but you can keep it rolling. Or if you do a Mutare with the frag rune, so it sort of bursts, it will destroy the acid rune, the Acrin rune. But whenever you hit, it will significantly decrease their armor class. But once you use it, it's burnt out.
Okay.
That sort of thing.
Colin's just really happy someone picked up a rune crafting again.
So for
Alec's
instance,
previous character left.
if we're talking warding, correct?
Yes,
Or-
that's
or frag.
defensive wounding.
Okay,
warding.
if we're saying like warding or break, like the frag rune, I could attach a spell or a damage type to it, potentially on an ally, and if they were to get
Yes.
hit, would it inflict damage? Ah, okay.
Yes, if you were to use warding, on an because you can enchant a number of items up to your proficiency modifier.
Yeah.
So if you were to do that to someone and you were to chant it, say with warding and break, and that does make it a slightly harder rune because you're using more runes in it. But whenever they trigger that break, that warding break, it will mean that there's a short period of time where they will resist a lot of that element instead of a low level amount of resistance for a long period of time. And then once the break is done, it burns out. And you have
if
to
we go back
reapply.
to the general shop, I'll buy Smith's tools.
Okay. You can get those from the blacksmith's tool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, aren't we going there?
Yeah, you'll get those in the next one over. I have to go pee, so a quick pause real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, this is a shopping
Alrighty.
episode, so we're just kind of.
I may already. Oh wait, the GM has to be on there to buy
Yay,
Smith's tools. Never mind, I didn't do it.
shopping.
But like I said, rune crafting. Like I said, the system is actually there, as you can see. That you can, if you want to do it for out of character. I don't want to say for fun, because it's mostly fun for me to come up with this system of this sort of viable system in the world that says this is how it's done in the world. And while if you like examine it with a fine tooth, like a real microscope, it doesn't necessarily hold up completely. But within the world, this is how these runes are done. They're written in dwarven runes, or technically Jotun runes, because the dwarf and the giant languages share a runic symbol. But if you want, you can go through it, and if you have any questions, ask me. I have to go pee really bad though. I'm gonna pause it right here.
Yeah, I'll bet.